name's Kirsty Brooks. I've written the first book in a series of comedy romance novels. The first book's called The Vodka Dialogue. The second book's called The Happiness Punch, which I'm working on at the moment. And the third book is called The Millionaire Float.
Own it, work it, own it, own it.
I used to sort of want to write a grown-up, sort of sexy Trixie Belden book, where Honey Wheeler, the girl down the road who got the horses and the big mansion and stuff, where they sort of went out and solved crime, but they got to wear miniskirts rather than sort of woolen plaid skirts with high brown socks. And so in some ways it's sort of a sassy city version of sort of these girls who get to go out and do what they want. And certainly when you're younger, the sense of freedom in that sort of idea of having a job where you're going out into someone else's life to find something out is very engaging and very attractive. I grew up in Whyalla in South Australia. I was born there. Writing has always been something that interests me, so I sort of followed that and studied journalism when I left school. The Vodka Dialogue's based around a central character called Cassidy Blair, and she's sort of a wish fulfillment character, which I tend to read about them anyway, where they're smarter and more beautiful and braver. She decides to start running a sort of a sideline business in sort of amateur sleuthing and private investigation, and does a fair bit of sort of a decoy work to try to test people's fiancés and see who's cheating and all that sort of stuff. And it ends up sort of snowballing out of control. And along the way, she meets an ex-boyfriend who used to be in a band, and then suddenly realises to her detriment that she's fallen rather badly for his brother, who was always the nerd at school and is now impossibly gorgeous and rather suave. Sitting in your underwear in front of the computer is really not that exciting, and even though I love writing, I tend to, as soon as I start writing, I tend to live through her. So there's a way of sort of creating versions of myself through Cassidy, because it's what I desperately wish I was doing at the time, often 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I know I've got to finish a chapter, and actually it would be much more fun to go down to the pub. So I send Cassidy down to the pub instead. Cassidy's best friend Josie, she runs a bar called the Easy Lounge, and the Vodka Dialogue is invented there, and is quite a hit, and is quite alcoholic as well, so there's just a warning. I was thinking, coming up with book titles all over the place, so I ended up with the Vodka Dialogue and the Happiness Punch and the Millionaire Float as 3 different drinks, which in each book will be sort of invented by one of the bartenders at the Easy Lounge. My books are almost within that kind of genre where they're fast-paced stories where hopefully the characters are empathetic and you've got a sense of wanting them to succeed, and they're almost always in some kind of ridiculous peril, and not in a Penelope Pitstop kind of way, but in a more sort of gormless sort of, even though they're dressed really well, they've found themselves in a ridiculous situation and they're just trying to get their way out of it. When I knew that Hodder was really interested in the project, I was really excited, and because I knew they were a good company. My agent rang up and sort of told me that that they were interested in buying all 3, which is terrific.